Hey, it's John with LBF Customs. Uh, so, Choptop. If you followed along, I've been fighting vibrations with this thing. And I fixed a bunch of stuff this year, and things have gotten better and they've gotten worse. Well, recently I watched one of Matt's off-road videos about the heavy wrecker and reconciling drive shaft angles, and it got me thinking. And I did some research on this and realized I screwed up. And I'll tell you why. So, when I replaced the rear axle in this, I had to re-weld the high TC. I had to re-weld the spring perches because this axle was out of a Ranger and a Bronco 2 is a half-inch wider on each side. So while I was at it, I just kind of clocked the pinion the same way that it was in the axle that I took out, pointing towards the transfer case. Well, that's not right. That gives me an unreconciled angle, because I got a pretty good angle coming off the transfer case. If I'm doing the math right, it's about 12 degrees off the transfer case. Now, what I was told with this rear drive shaft when I got it for this project, I was told it was a Tom Woods high angle drive shaft. And this thing's always had quirks and vibrations. But I'm pretty sure it's the drive shaft causing my problems right now. Yeah, I am going to make a new transmission cross member. That's not going to happen right away. I need to see about getting these angles closer for the time being, because I can do that in a day or so. My only problem is I need the taller jack stands, and my two taller jack stands are currently in use. And I'm a little short right now, so otherwise I'd just go buy another set. The other stands, if you may remember, on the Green Ranger project, they got crushed when this thing fell. So, I don't know, we'll figure something out here. I got some feelers out. And, I know I'm getting long-winded. Yeah. I do have some 4-degree shims. So, I may see where that puts us, or I may make brackets. So, stand by while we figure this out. Alright, so I got my template pattern thing put together for the Choptop cross member. Had to do a little recalculation, that's why there's some different lines on here. Got the pieces cut, so we'll be putting an angle on the end. And this guy, which actually, there was a slight miscalculation there. Go right about like that. There. Across there. Now I got another angle for over on this end. So I'll get this tacked together. The other angle's a little warm right now because I just ground it. I'm gonna have to put a little notch here. I might put some little gussets over here. I also gotta see about getting some holes in these pieces. But I'll try to bring you guys along. I'll get this sorted out. Oh, and I'll have to put the 2 holes for the transmission mount. So we'll get after it here. Alright, so late shift put in some work, and we got some done yesterday. It was really windy, so I didn't try filming yesterday, and it's kind of hard to film in the dark. And we got rain earlier than anticipated yesterday. I was worried about this sitting here yesterday, well, last night with all the wind, but everything's fine. Run down things. Yes, I know those are concrete block in the back. Yes, they will be just fine. They're in compression with a solid on top. They're not going anywhere. They're on limestone. They're solid. They're actually 3-cell 12-inch. Be just fine for a couple days here. The big mistake that people make with those is laying them on their side for a flat spot, and they're not designed for that. Anyway, transmission cross member. It is in. I had to modify my plan a little bit over here. This bracket unbolts from the frame and unbolts here. I still gotta get some bolts in there. I thought about putting some gussets up there. Probably not really needed. I don't have the time to mess with it right now. So that's what it's getting. That's not even fully painted, but it's in. It'll work. That's what matters. We're just trying to get back on the road so I can get back to the Green Ranger. Rear axle. I got this side torched off, and then I ran out of oxygen. So that's unwelcome. But not the end of the world, because I dragged over the oxygen tank from the shed last night in between rain. So we'll get that hooked up here. And we'll have oxygen until I can get this other tank filled. Which it's gonna... Not only does it need filled, it's gonna need to probably be pressure tested because it's old. So, one step at a time. I got these completed. So, once I get the last old bracket done, I'll set these on there, get the axle in position, weld those in place, and I'm going to try to bring you guys along some today. So, stand by. Alright, real quick, there you have it. We are zeroed. I'm going to get this welded before anything moves. Alright, so it got dark before I got done last night. But got the spring perches welded in on both sides. Got the U-bolts back on. They're tightened. Ended up about 0.3 degrees off on the pinion angle. But the way it's off, a little more weight in the back of this should squish the springs down a little bit and fix that. And I still need to put the cage and everything back in this thing. So I'll have the extra weight. Paul's going to be bringing me a couple bolts later. He's trying to do something about this bad drum. I don't have money to buy new drums, but I went digging to see if I at least had an old drum. Let me show you what's going on with this. Not only is the edge broken, but it is scored up. Apparently the adjuster came loose and the top of the pad started chewing into the rotor, or the drum rather. Well, I went digging, I found 2 brand new rotors in my stockpile. So this is going to get 2 rotors. And the other tire's just sitting on there. So I'll pop that off. I'll get the 2 new rotors on. I'll get the 2 new drums off, or on. Jeez, I'm a mess today. I have to do some clearancing work on the drive shaft. I'll probably bring you guys along for that. Try to bring you guys along for some of putting this back together. But they're calling for high winds and rain, so I'm going to get busy whipping this thing together here. So hang on. Alright, the other camera died when I got called away, but I'm going to try to show you guys something. So I still have the retaining strap on this shock. And this is the reason why. So I don't have to really fight with this thing. Because see, it's really tough. Push it up when you're under here like this. So here's what you do. Get it angled in here. Get your bolt ready. And there you go. Now you're not fighting with it. Put some new bolts here. Let's get this snug down. Go. Just like that. So now I'll get the other one done. Get the drive shaft back in. And we'll be ready for a test drive. So I'll just flip around, get the other side done, and then I'll bring you guys back for the drive shaft. Alright, conditions are less than ideal, but because if you've forgotten, I don't have working 4-wheel drive. I don't even have good 2-wheel drive because the locker's not in. But we must sally forth today. So, hang on. Might get a little western.